Welcome back to our YouTube channel, ladies and gentlemen. Questions are still being asked. What really brought the ICC prosecutor Karim Khan into the country? Because days after he left, we are reading mischief, and when we try to connect the dots, it is crystal clear that Karim Khan came here to advise Ruto on how he can get scot-free of the heinous acts of police brutality that were meted on Azimio supporters when they were protesting against the high cost of living. Days after Khan left the country, we saw the Inspector General, who had been very quiet ever since a letter was written to the ICC mentioning his name as the key suspect because he heads the police. And he never talked, he coiled his tail. But now he has resuscitated and he has resurfaced and spitting venom. Everyone was shocked yesterday when the Inspector General was telling us that they will continue killing Kenyans using the instruments and facilities that are bought by taxpayers' money. Quoting him, he said, bunduki nikibeba, ujue sio mkwajo, nitakuhudumia. And then he also accused the opposition of hiring dead bodies to parade to accuse the police of killing them. And he was also telling us that his men were also killed using stones. We didn't see any. And hours later, after these shocking sentiments, we are informed that William Ruto signed the Malabo Protocol, a law that shields sitting presidents and government officials who commits heinous acts of crime from being prosecuted at the International Criminal Court. And this brings the discussion of who really was advising the president. Because now we can safely conclude that the ICC prosecutor Karim Khan is a man who understands the ICC protocols. They know how one can evade justice. They know what can be done without raising much eyebrows for one to be subjected from immunity, can be subjected to immunity from being prosecuted. And they must have sat down with William Ruto and they looked at what they can do. A few months later, when William Ruto was speaking at the African Union Summit, he promised that he would join other African leaders to ratify this Malabo Protocol. And he has done it. It tells me that when the opposition says that they have evidence that the police rain terror on Azimio innocent supporters, then it is very true. And I have a feeling that Khan was called here to look at the intensity of the accusations that were leveled against them by the opposition. And he came back because he had read the letter that was written by Paul Mwangi, who is the Azimio lawyer. And when he read it together with William Ruto, I have a feeling he told them, men, this is serious, because there was enough evidence. Human Rights, Haki Africa, all had evidences of police killing people, beating them, some being removed from the houses and being killed in broad daylight, in full glare of camera. And so after looking at the evidence, I think he told William Ruto, if this goes to The Hague, you will be in trouble. And because you all know that the owners of The Hague are the usual suspects, the big boys, USA and the UK. And my USA is not even a signatory to the ICC. And one might be asking, if they are not signatories, then why do I think they are controlling the ICC? The answer is very simple. They are the largest financier of ICC. You see, ICC depends on the contribution of member states and other nations. And the USA is the #1 contributor to the ICC, International Criminal Court, because judges have to be paid. When prosecution is happening at the level of investigations, they have to be facilitated. For example, if ICC has to send someone here for investigations, then they must fund it. The flight, his stay here. They must also protect witnesses, something that I don't think is happening. If anything, if what happened to the Kenyan scenario with the witnesses is anything to go by. So America will always control the ICC. And America, you all know, is the father of William Samoei Ruto. So one of the things that I think he might advise William Ruto to do is to fast track the signing of this Malabo protocol. So what it means now is that William Ruto has sanctioned mass killing against Azimio protesters. The police, the state officers will kill people and they will not be prosecuted at The Hague. Number two, all the killings that have happened will not be prosecuted because they want to ratify this. Kenya says it will ratify this by September, and then the whole of African Union will ratify it latest by October. And there is this pretense that Africa wants to establish their own court, a court that has the stature of the International Criminal Court, because they feel they must not be taken to The Hague, because this, they feel, is a court of the of this white man, the Western countries. The only problem, because I don't have a problem with establishing a court for Africans, but the only problem is that those who are trying to advocate for creation of an African court are partners in crime, accomplices. They are presidents who have either manipulated and rigged elections. They are presidents who are beating and killing anyone with a dissenting voice, those who don't read from the same way, politically speaking, if you don't subscribe to their political ideology. Those who are really corrupt and they are perpetuating, stealing from public coffers together with their relatives and officials they have appointed. And so it is a matter of scratch my back, I scratch your back. The African Union is just a bunch of hooligans, presidents who eat from the same plate. They have the same history and background. And if you want to know just how fishy they can be, when they realized that there was a lot of coup d'etat in West Africa, they have decided that they are forming a military wing to go and force those who have successfully managed to topple governments, and they want to topple them also, without looking at the nitty-gritties, without looking at the root causes of the coup d'etat. Because the same reasons that I'm talking about have led to sometimes toppling the government. Governments who butcher their people, you see, they raise the high cost of living because most of them are working for the West, when the West urge them and force them to increase taxes. And when people go to the streets to ask, to lament, according to their right within the constitution, they are killed, they are maimed. The opposition leaders are beaten anyhowly. And sometimes it reaches a point when the military gets sick and tired of this. And that is what happened in Burkina Faso, in Niger. People are fighting. There is no equitable distribution of resources and state appointments. And chest thumping is the order of the day. And this is why men in uniform sometimes, just get tired. And so, ladies and gentlemen, by signing this Malabo protocol, William Ruto has simply sanctioned the killings. He has protected those who killed the Azimio protesters. No wonder the Inspector General yesterday was speaking with authority that they will never be cowed or intimidated by the threats of going to The Hague, because the ICC prosecutor himself came here and they wade into the discussions, looked at areas on how they can avoid, justice, and they have reached a point. It is a sad state of affairs in our country. I don't know what you think, but these are my thoughts about the current state of the political affairs in our country.